Trustees regular meeting today is Wednesday, April 11th, 2018. The time is 7:01. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the roll.
Noted.
Approval of the agenda. Any additions, deletions? Go ahead, Curtis.
Recommendation to add item 11G is, it would be the Wood Trail sinkhole water and sewer repairs. And to, item 8, to remove the after the hyphen water and sewer committee. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The reason we're having this so late is we didn't get the information today on the last agenda item that was added, so we apologize for that. I've lost. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Sorry about that.
I'll make a motion with the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Durr?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. On to public comment on items not on the agenda. Any public comment? Seeing none. Human Resource Services proposal. Would you like to step up here? State your name and who you represent, please.
My name is Jenny Jikoski.
We have a podium up here
Sorry.
with a microphone, and you're on TV.
Yay. My name is Jenny Jikoski. I represent Paychecks Incorporated. This is Marjana McLean, one of my partners with the company. Thank you for allowing us to come in and talk to you. Hopefully we can come up with a solution that fits your needs. I do have packets for each of the board members.
You can bring it right up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Paychecks Incorporated handles human resource outsourcing for about 600,000 clients across the U.S. I had met with Mr. Dunn and Mr. Wright a little while ago to discuss some of the solutions available to the township. What we did is had a meeting and talked about how that might look. Majority of our clients in your market space that are employers don't currently have an internal HR person. So what happens is as laws change or as things change with regard to human resources, a lot of our clients aren't able to be proactive because it's not necessarily anyone's background. So when we had our conversation, there was areas that we uncovered with regard to compliance that currently the township just didn't know necessarily everything that it needed, which is pretty common in your market space. We support clients by bringing in someone like Marjana. Marjana is one of our HR generalists. She's got a couple clients that she works with here in Oxford. And what she does is an assessment of where you stand today as far as areas of exposure, whether it be with compliance or lawsuits, employee issues, and really works with them to kind of guide and support them as far as what should be done, things that need to be addressed to be in compliance with federal and state laws. Marjana and I had a conversation after our meeting, or my meeting with Mr. Wright and Mr. Dunn. Some of the things that we had talked about were updating an employer handbook, making sure that the things you're communicating are up to date with federal and state law, and also protect the township. Making sure that your safety program is created, and it meets both federal and state requirements for OSHA and MIOSHA. Things like making sure that managers understand what performance appraisals look like, making sure that they know how to handle any issues should they arise with employees. So, Marjana, maybe give your background a little bit and how you might be able to support the township should this be a fit for them.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting us. As a human resource consultant with Paychecks, I've been with the company for over 10 years. I've been doing HR for over 30 years. So our job is to make this as painless for the township as possible, but work with you to do an assessment of where your areas of exposure are. So things that we can help you shore up pretty regularly, pretty soon, obviously, because we deal with this all the time, right? So we're here to be that go-to person that you have available to make sure that we're helping you move forward with all the different issues that you may have. And so part of that process that Jenny discussed is that we come in, do an overall assessment of where there might be some exposure and what we can do to help you close that gap and make sure that you have a good human resource structure for the township and all the employees that you're serving.
So what I've included in your packet,
Do you mind if someone interrupts?
absolutely.
If they have you mind?
I absolutely don't want you to interrupt me.
If there's any questions along the way, they
Yeah.
got one right here.
I've looked over the packet very carefully. My biggest question is on the money portion of it.
Okay.
On your proposal, you have a price per employee for the township of $273 per month, and a price per employee for the fire department of $298 per month.
Correct.
That's
That's not a per employee, that's based on.
Okay, it
for the-
says per employee, so that was
Yep.
my question.
If you look at the unit rate, it's, as you kind of look across.
I see the rate
Yep,
of 298.
Where you look under, where it says Oxford Township, the next column across is quantity.
I'm sure they're looking at the same thing here.
I'm seeing
There's
quantity and rate, 11 times, yeah,
You don't have the same thing I do. So
No,
that did
because
not-
your quantity is the same as your...
yeah.
You know what, I will leave these for your copy. I don't know, you have something different than what I'm looking at.
Okay.
If total's the same, yeah, you have one more. For some reason, that was printed differently.
Oh, okay, this is the annual. All right. Yeah, this looks a lot better.
I apologize, I don't know why you got the wrong.
Because this was working out to $6,000 per month for one and 5 for the
Yeah.
other. Okay. We can hire them for full time. All right. Thank you. That was my question.
Does anyone else have a copy that doesn't give a breakdown showing the discount? If that's what you're looking at, that is different than what she has.
That's what we had submitted to us to put in the packet.
Okay, okay, yeah, in this packet, you should have, the last page under the HR services should be a breakout. Does everyone see a breakout of how we get to those numbers?
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
In terms of liability, let's say we have an issue with employee X. We go to you guys, you say, handle it A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We handle it that way. Something still goes awry. Township ends up getting sued. You cover us in that?
Marjana.
Would you be responsible for our legal fees if we follow everything that you direction gave and also the employee says, that was wrong, I still don't agree? Or, I mean, otherwise...
There is some partnership in that. Would Paychecks cover all your legal fees? No. I mean, it's a partnership, and so there's some directive, and we come to a conclusion that works best for everyone. Is the opportunity for an employee to sue you open at any time, of course, but we try to guide you in the best way to mitigate that. And knock on wood here, I've been with the company 10 years and never had an issue. I've never had anyone come back on any advice that I have given that was not handled in the right way. So we haven't.
As the designated HR person, I'm sitting on pins and needles waiting, hoping God's going to look down on me very gingerly, because I don't know anything about HR. I think it's important for us to, first of all, get all of our stuff in order, and then probably listen to these folks on their direction.
Yes.
Would you recap for me exactly what you're going to provide this program and summarize?
Yeah, so there is, if you look in your packets on this piece right here, gives you a high-level overview. Does everyone have this? So basically, what we're providing is that HR consultant trainings, handbooks, job descriptions, employee file audits to ensure that you're up to date with what needs to be captured according to DLL standards, according to whatever guidelines you fall under as being an employer in the state of Michigan based on the size that you have. The HR assessment, that's where we uncover it. So the training booklet, if you look, there's 2 pieces in here. These would be trainings that could be rolled out depending on the results of your HR assessment, which is where Marjana or colleague in her role would come in. Basically do your 1 to 100 gap analysis and game plan where the highest risks are, where the biggest exposures are, whether it be compliance or legally. And then, so it would be trainings, any documentation that's required, management trainings. This is a pretty good kind of bullet point list though.
What kind of a timeline are you looking at in terms of implementation, once you do the analysis?
Do you want to kind of maybe
Sure.
address what you've seen with groups their size?
So basically with the number of employees that you have, there are some limited exposures that you have based on your employee count, but it really is an issue of us discussing what is the best fit for your organization, and so what does the township need? We can do some analysis of all of your records and things like that. That does not take a lot of time, but it's really setting up that structure. So where do we stand as far as performance appraisals? Are your managers trained? Are they up on the latest hiring questions? Are their applications compliant? So we can dive into a multitude of different directions. It just really is driven by where we assess that you have things under control and where we want to spend the most time. So I would say 3 to 6 months is a realistic time frame to kind of tap into all of those different areas. I do have some clients in the area. Casimir Tool has been my client for over 10 years, and both Bob Trottier and Amy Rico said if anyone wanted to contact them about the services that they've had with Paychecks, they're more than welcome to speak with them about how we just jump in and help them. So right now we are doing management training with some of their newer hires. Everything is customized. Everything is built on what we see the need is, and as HR professionals, that's our recommendation as consultants to make sure that you're good in all the different areas, whether it's training and development, employee engagement, any issues involving employee relations at all, if you're having any issues with the employee, any problems with leaves of absence, medical coverage, I mean, we can go anywhere you want to go. So there is no end to what we can provide for you. It's just a matter of getting through the process and making sure you feel comfortable with where you are and what you need to do next.
Yes.
I saw you do trainings. Do you have those, do them in-house here? Or
We
how?
certainly can. We can do,
Okay.
any one of us on the HR, I'm one of 12 people on a team of HRGs that are based out of Novi. Any one of us can come in and do a on-site training.
So you could do a FOIA training, you could do a HIPAA training, you could do those kinds of trainings?
We can definitely do HIPAA training. We have an HR safety representative that helps us with some of the sessions for safety. We have recorded sessions that can be played on demand that are done by our safety department.
Okay.
But all of the other trainings that are listed there, as far as any kind of managerial development, as far as developing your supervisors, how to handle conflict resolution, how to deal with employee issues, how to do some corrective action, some disciplinary types of procedures, all of that kind of training would fall under the HR umbrella.
Okay.
We can do them via WebEx. We also have a system called our Paycheck Learning Center where the employee can actually do it on their own computer, on their own, at their workstation if you'd like to go that route. So got a lot of different opportunities. I like the face-to-face,
Yeah.
obviously, just because we can customize it to what the messages that you want to send to your employees.
Okay.
Questions, any more? Board's pleasure.
I move to enter into an agreement with Paycheck to provide human resource services to the Charter Township of Oxford and authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support.
Moved and supported. Yeah, Joe?
I'd like to look at, not that you guys wouldn't do a good job, I'd like to look at other vendors and what they have to offer. I also kind of look at, because I know a lot of you guys are going to MTA at the end of this month. Fay Schultz, Burzich, and Rhodes specialize in municipal law for employee type stuff. Maybe have a talk with them too to kind of see what their recommendation would be, because they deal with this stuff every day. I don't think this is a good proposal, but I'd like to at least kind of wait and kind of think about this and see if there's another option we want to go at.
Any other questions? Yes, Chief, come on.
With this, where it says, we've got the fire department included right there, when you're saying you're moving to enter an agreement, is that including us too, or is this just not your part for right now?
I would probably do our part for right now, if this proposal goes through, and see how it goes.
Because if fire department is including, I've got tons of questions that we would need to go through and
But,
look
you
at
know,
if they deal with the union
I would-
contract and fire and everything else, so.
I would want them to sit down with you, and you haven't had the opportunity yet,
Right.
so you would not, as far as I'm concerned, you wouldn't be part of this,
Okay.
So it'd just be for us.
just for us right now.
So the Oxford fire line would, you just cross it out.
Do you have an annual cost for us?
Yes. Yeah.
I was doing it for the TV audience and the people out here that don't have it. So we're talking $10,000,
Correct.
basically, for the year, yes.
Plus implementation fee,
Correct.
4,100.
Okay, yes.
Now, if the fire department doesn't go with it right now, will there be a separate implementation fee for the fire department?
Officially, the answer is yes, but
Okay.
definitely it is something that, being a referral from you, we would look to see what kind of room Paychecks have at the time that they decide to implement it. I can't give you approval to waive that without manager approval, I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Because the fire department and technically Parks and Rec, under our purview, we might want to bring them all to the table and kind of figure out which way we want to go. I've had a tough time just having us do it, leaving them exposed. I'm sure it'll help us out.
We've been exposed forever, Joe, and nobody felt sorry for me until this point.
Yeah, but I'm
Well,
saying,
and the fire department has
As an attorney,
an attorney, a labor attorney,
Labor attorney.
we'll have to find some guys.
and a union contract, so all of that working together.
Let's all look, see how it all plays together. Right now, it just here's us, but what about the other units?
yes.
I'm in favor of moving this forward, of course, but if there's going to be an implementation fee on top of what, I mean, if the fire department was added in this motion, would the implementation fee be $3,100 flat?
Yeah, that actually would cover any entities any entities that would be considered combos, not necessarily parent-child, but combos or related entities. If it's 6-8 months from now, and for example, the township has said, we've got what we've needed, and we're still not with it, then at that point, there's going to be a separate implementation.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you
Yes,
ever waive the implementation fee?
it's not waived. Sometimes we can get discount. The reason that we are at 3,100 here is because it was for 2 entities. If we need to look at just the other entity, I can see if there's going to be room. I've seen them go as low as 2,000, and that would be for the single entity. If we're looking at both, it would be the 3,100.
Okay, so if we go with one, it would be less possible.
If you are just looking at Oxford Township,
Right.
I know today that I can get an approval for 2,000 because it's only one implementation.
Okay,
So your handbook, for example, would be for Oxford Township. If we were to do Oxford Township and Oxford Fire, you're going to have 2 separate
How about Park and Rec?
I mean, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Recs is going to be a separate handbook, right? So if those are things that we wanted to include, we could mimic the pricing schedule and they would all fall under the same
That's what we said, always should
implementation.
table at least for a month, get their input, come back in May with a solid proposal, what we're going to do with all of them.
Jack?
Yeah, see, and we're also forgetting about the library. I mean,
They may want part of it.
you got Parks and Rec, you got the library. How many employees do we have in the fire department? 2? No?
Well,
You
the,
have a bargaining unit, and you have township employees.
They've got 3 over there.
So, I mean, where does this start and stop? So I'm trailing off what Joe said. I assumed, based on the information I got today, that we were doing the fire department and the township. Now, these questions coming up with Parks and Rec, the library, they're all still falling under the township umbrella. Because we cut their checks, don't we?
The library, not directly, but technically as the general government, we're overseeing them all.
Yes.
Library's got a little bit more independence. The fire and parks rec don't. They're underneath our purview.
I look for your, Mr. Wright, you can help me out with that?
what's that, repeat that?
Are they not township employees at Parks and Rec?
They're under us, they're our children.
Yeah, and same with the library. Indirectly, we're approving their budgets, fire department,
But they have their own elected boards and they,
well then, and so does Parks and Rec.
that's what I meant, they all do.
I, totally off the subject, I have one more question for them.
Go ahead.
Back to the trainings. Are the trainings an additional fee if we ask for it? Okay.
That catalog of trainings and that safety sheet, as well as any OSHA or MyOSHA specific, are all included in this platform.
Okay.
And having Marjana or a colleague of hers helping to guide you, that's where we'll pull out the ones that are necessary. Of course, you can request any that you want, but we will help develop that curriculum as to what applies and what you should be doing.
Okay. I move to postpone this issue. Oh, that would?
Yeah, already got a motion to accept it.
Oh.
Well, let's do that one, see how that goes. Yes.
I guess, my opinion is Chairman Dunn's approach to it, doing the township first and expanding on it later, would be the approach we should take, because as he's pointed out, it's been so long, we've never had HR capability here, and we may run into some situations as we're working with this particular company that would influence the other entities as well.
Well, we're going to find out when we vote here. Does everybody understand what we're doing?
The motion is for Oxford Township only, no other entities.
That's
That
what,
was not in the motion, but I
you can
made
read
that comment.
I can read that in that motion that I read, as I read that it's Oxford, Charter Township of Oxford, and if it's just to include the Oxford Township employees that reside in this building, I can amend my motion to do that.
It's over you.
Withdraw it, sir.
Or,
Also, if you amend it, I'd like to see an amendment to the amount established for the implementation.
The implementation, if it's
I'll
strictly
withdraw
the
my motion.
township, would be
You guys-
2,000.
2,000.
Hold on.
I'm up.
Hold on, everybody. The motion's been withdrawn. Who supported it?
I did, I'll withdraw.
Okay. Let's start all over again. What would you guys like?
I'd like to make a motion that Supervisor Dunn, Clerk Wright, Treasurer Ferrari, be with Jenny and her associates, along with the fire department, Parks, Rec, Library, gauge their interest in this, come back with a formal recommendation to the Township Board at its next May meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Clerk Wright, no. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes?
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
no,
Supervisor Dunn?
No.
And Trustee Nichols?
No.
Okay, motion fails.
Let's try another one.
I was on the losing end, somebody said.
I move to enter into an agreement with Paycheck to provide human resource services to the Charter Township of Oxford, the building of the township and its employees, and authorize Supervisor Dunn to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Moved and supported. Seconded. Whatever. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
No.
Treasurer Ferrari?
No?
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur?
No.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch tomorrow.
Thank you all for your time. We appreciate it.
Where does that leave fire, library, Parks, and Rec?
Where they are right now.
Revisit them later.
We can set up meetings with them once we find out how this is going. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much.
On to the Baldwin rezoning. Who would like to tackle this?
I move to approve the rezoning of parcel P 0407101018, that's up to suburban farm zoning, to R1 single residential family residential zone, and to approve the rezoning of parcel P 0407101019, that's up to suburban farm zoning, to R1 single family residential zone. This approval is based upon the finding that the proposed rezoning meets the requirements of section 18.3 of the Charter Township of Oxford zoning ordinance and is consistent and compatible with the master plan, adjacent zoning districts, and adjacent land uses.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Joe.
Just so that you're on this issue, there's going to be talk where now that this has been approved, they're going to want to probably meet with myself, Curtis, and Bill, kind of where to go from here. So we might have some legal expenses involved, because they can only figure out what their options are.
Well, we will have some legal
So I just want to make sure the board knows that we're going to have to kind of wade ourselves through all this as we go through the process.
And they will be required to have a T&A account to pay for these legal expenses?
They could just beat us in court.
The tough thing with that, Jack, normally I'd agree with you, because it was our error in the original whole rezoning part of it all. We're trying to make it right.
Okay, the legal expenses for this rezoning, if there should be any.
Correct.
No other conditions of their proposals would be brought up at that time.
So I know they'd like to talk, and I know they're looking for representation.
I can't answer that. We don't know what they want to talk about officially.
Right, but what I want to clear is that if we have to spend legal monies to verify our rezoning of those properties, we understand that's our concern.
Or their contention of the use.
Yeah. Now, use and zoning is two different things, isn't it?
I'm just trying to tell you that we're not through with this piece of property yet.
I know.
But Jack's theory,
But I don't want to pay out of my taxpayers' money legal fees to make sure they're a church.
I think the team of Dunn and Ferrari will make sure that nothing is wasted.
I'm pretty positive of that.
And Jack, and trust me, I understand what you're saying on that issue. Because now it's another issue that we're going to have to tackle.
That's what I don't want is
Yeah, I want you to get all that.
6 issues into this one.
Will it help you?
No, you don't want that.
No.
On to, I believe, the Legacy Center's next.
Final sentence.
Oh, Fire Department. There we are. You got anything, Chief? Joanne? Oh, good. Final site plan approval, North Oakland Woods Site Condominium. Why my name is here, I'm not quite sure. We've already done the first we've done everything
It's final.
so far.
Final approval was given, final site plan approval with conditions was given at the planning commission. It has to come to the township board for approval.
I move to approve the final site plan for parcel P04362030, 04362031, 04362032, 04362033, zone SF1 Suburban Farms, for the development to be known as North Oakland Woods, based on the final site plan. It's consistent with Oxford Township ordinances and the approved preliminary site plan.
Support.
Further, Further, the site plan approval is conditioned upon the following items being approved by the following. 1, any unresolved items contained within Township Planner's review dated February 13, 2018 and February 15, 2018. Any unresolved items contained within the Township Engineer's review dated February 12, 2018. Any unresolved items contained within the Township Attorney's review dated March 6, 2018. And any resolved items contained within the Township Fire Chief's review dated February 12, 2018 regarding the dry hydrants.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do you understand all that, Sam?
Absolutely not. Not yet.
So we're giving you approval subject to those 4 things being done.
Address that next.
Yep, so that's all.
Okay, everybody understand? Roll call?
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Was the Sawyer safety path come up here?
Yep, board members, they're also looking at doing this cash in lieu of the safety path on their property.
Joe, will you speak into your mic, please?
Cash in lieu of for the safety path. So I move to allow North Oakland Woods Development LLC, the developer of North Oakland Woods, to provide payment in lieu of construction of the safety path, the amount of $6,710. The safety path fund is determined by the construction cost estimate from Sharp Engineering. A written contract shall be executed by North Oakland Woods Development in the Charter Township of Oxford as a condition of final site plan approval. And authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign a written contract on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Do a roll call.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes,
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
and I'll work on that agreement, board members.
Okay, 925. Look here, Legacy Entertainment LLC, the agreement regarding the liquor license.
Supervisor,
Yes,
can we give you that check tonight?
sure.
Okay. Who do we, well,
Give it to the treasurer.
Oh, if you got the check, that'd be perfect.
yeah, I brought
He
it up.
never refuses money.
I'll take it. I'll get the agreement later.
Yeah. Just give you the check tonight. What's the amount?
6,700?
Yeah.
6,710, excuse me. Thank you, and we'll get the agreement going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
You all set, Joe, with your cash?
I said an agreement. I'll get that going.
Let's move on to the Legacy Entertainment regarding the liquor license. Clerk Wright?
Yes, board members, this is an agreement regarding the liquor license that the applicant will not take the liquor license out of the Charter Township of Oxford. The document has been executed by the owner, Mr. Mills, and Supervisor Dunn and myself. There was one slight change that was put into it, initially by the three of us. But to get it into the record, we wanted to put it on the record with a motion. So with that, I move to approve the agreement regarding liquor license between 925 Lapeer Legacy Entertainment LLC and the Charter Township of Oxford dated March 21, 2018 as presented.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Everybody understand? Roll call?
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
And also, as part of that, there was a letter submitted to the township in regard to a letter that was in the packet to approve their liquor license. And if the board chooses to want this in the minutes, the supervisor has to indicate that if there's no objections, he'll put that in the minutes. If not, a motion is in order.
Since they don't know what probably what we're talking about, I'll just go ahead and read the letter.
They have been forwarded the
Oh, they have? So should I read it into the record?
If you want to.
It's up to you, if the board has no objection.
Do you have any objection? Anybody have any objection to putting it part? Is there a motion?
I already know what the motion is there.
A motion to enter this into the record.
I'll make a motion to enter the April 15, 2018 letter from the Stony Lake Village Condo Association of Waterstone into the official Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting record of April 11, 2018.
Moved,
Second.
seconded. Any questions?
Date on that letter?
April 5th.
I think he said 15.
April 5th, Joe.
Oh, April 5th.
Thank you, Jim.
So you amend your motion?
Oh, yeah, that was just a thing.
Now amend my second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to NODA. We're back here. Which one do we want to talk about first?
The agreement.
Looks like the agreement.
The agreement. Is there any questions on the agreement? There may be some tweaks in there. When I say tweaks, T's crossed, dots, or I's dotted. So, would there be a motion?
I move to approve the interlocal contracted services agreement between the Charter Township of Orion, the Charter Township of Oxford, the Township of Addison, and the North Oakland Transportation Authority commencing January 1st, 2018 and expiring December 31st, 2025 and authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support.
Moved and supported. Seconded. Thank you, Clerk Wright. Sound like my mother.
Should hire a person to have
Let's do a roll call.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Durkin?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? No. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
No.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Do we have to approve the resolution authorizing, this is for the millage.
Okay, that's the next one.
Next one. Let's move on to the resolution authorizing the North Oakland Transportation Authority, the millage renewal request.
Board members, this has been an ongoing event to get this millage to you in this present form. Tonight I passed out the revised resolution to approve the millage language that was forwarded to me this afternoon on about the 5th or 6th try. So in front of you is the correct millage language to approve a resolution. The petition has to be to the county by the 1st of May. For when the million want to put this on the ballot, it has to be the language has to be to the county by May 15th. So there's a window if you're not happy putting this through tonight.
It will not be under.
If not, it is ready to be acted on.
Any questions? Will there be a motion?
I move to approve the resolution authorizing the North Oakland Transportation Authority millage renewal request to be placed on the August 7th, 2018 primary election ballot for the purpose of supplementing the existing capital and operating expenses for the North Oakland Transportation Authority.
The move, is there a second? I have a second down there? Okay. Roll call.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
No.
Trustee Durkin?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
And Trustee Payne?
Yes.
On to Elkview Estates, finally. Elkview Estates Drainage and Paving Improvement Bid Recommendation. Engineer Sharp.
Well, little by little, we keep getting to the finish line here with Elkview. We've prepared all the bid documents for the surface water drainage, and then all the piping, all the roadways. We put it out to bid. Because of your motion from the last meeting, we were able to put it on the Mitten website. I think that really helped out a lot. We received a total of 7 bids. The low bid was provided from Saradan Construction at an amount of $275,210. We had 2 more bids that were, real close, under $300,000, and they ranged up to $375,000. But based on our reference checks and so forth, we're recommending that you award the project to Saradan Construction. For those of you that don't know, they're a local firm here. They're located out on Lakeville Road. They're, a very good company to work with. They'll probably be subcontracting the paving aspects of it. They're more of an underground contractor, but they've done very good work for us in the past on both projects for the township and in the public entities, the private projects around here. They're currently doing Leos. They did Tractor Supply. So
They did the site work here.
yeah, and working with their group, they seem very, very upfront, honest, and good people. So
So you're confident in them as a...
The Park and Rec's very happy with them too. They've done a lot of work with them.
I move to award the Elkview Estates Drainage and Paving Improvements Project to Saradan Construction, Inc. The base bid amount of $275,210 is identified by Sharp Engineering. The $275,210 bid amount to be expensed to general fund unallocated account 101-299-821-008 Elkview Improvements.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other questions? I am happy with the contractor. I'm also happy with the price.
Yeah, maybe the price.
I was expecting a lot more, mid-3s, 350, whatever. That just helped cut our losses. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Trustee Durkin?
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Would it be, since we're on Elkview, what does the board want to do with this property we now have?
Sell it.
I mean, we're talking about 103 acres. I know there's rumblings out there that a couple people want to look at it. Does the board want to sell this? Do you want to sit on it for a while?
I would like to lease this to all be done. Everything done, cleared up, roads, drainage, and then make the determination.
Second.
Okay, I just wanted
it all done.
I just wanted a little flavor, so we're just going to hold that until we get everything done.
Once it's all taken care of, throw it out.
Waiting.
Exactly.
Then I have things to answer to some people. Prepayment of water connection fees. I'm going to turn this over to our water and sewer chairman, Mr. Wright, or excuse me, Curtis.
Mr. Wright, that's,
So he's the next man.
yeah.
He's waiting in line.
To clear up the confusion, what we're trying to do is to loop our water system in the southeast quadrant. And some of the information that went out tonight is we're going to bring it down, we're going to bring it this way. We're trying to do it in pieces where it doesn't cost the township or the taxpayers the money. So what we're looking to do is if a developer wanted to prepay the sewer and water, or just water alone, we would then install the water line with that prepayment and move it closer to a loop system. The Water Resources Committee has determined that we need this loop in the system, number one. Number two, the possibility of an additional well site in the future. So the leverage we have with prepayment, we can use it in a bargaining tool to accomplish that task without taxpayers bonding out the project.
Yes?
Jack, that's my issue too, is I don't mind the prepayment, but as part of this, I like to have them set aside a site too for a future well. So it's like we're not giving them a credit and have to negotiate with them for a well site.
Yeah, we've discussed that in committee at length. We even have authorization from this board at one time to go into Camp Oakland and look for water. So we need water on that end of town as far as an excellent system. It's really good right now, but we do have deadheads. And while in construction of this, there is consideration for a treatment plant on that end of town.
It's on a horizon for us to keep on.
Yes, it's
on the,
right in our rifle scope to keep it right there.
but that's a good point, Joe.
Yep.
What's the board's pleasure on this?
I move to approve to allow any owner or developer of properties proposed for development on the East Trainer Road corridor the opportunity to prepay the water connection fee at the approved water connection fee charge per each residential unit, equivalent unit, at the time of the request to prepay the water connection fee. The funds received for the prepayment of water connection fees shall be used to extend the Oxford Township water system to provide water service to these properties along East Trainer Road corridor. Furthermore, the Water and Sewer Committee is authorized to continue negotiations with these owners or developers to secure any additional land or appurtenances as needed.
Second.
Had to get that in there, didn't you, Joe?
I want to make sure.
Yes.
I just want to make this clear that we're not working on moving from the south or from the north to the south and from the west to the east at the same time. We're just going after little bits at a time here to make this work. It's not going to be prepaid and it'll all be hooked up.
Roll call?
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Durk?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
And Clerk Wright, yes.
Under the chloride program, this, historically, we've had two companies or agencies bidding on this. We only have one, and that's the Oakland County Road Commission. The amounts are in there. It's basically 45 cents per foot for the individual orders. So we need a motion to pay half of their charge or half of their lineal footage. We've done this every year in the past.
The other vendor wasn't interested, huh?
The other vendor was not interested.
Okay. I'll make some motion to provide chloride service in 2018 50% township, 50% resident participation for individual orders on public gravel roads, contract with the Road Commission for Oakland County at .452 foot for individual orders. The township contribution being allocated from account number 101-446-969-000, highway road maintenance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. On to Joe's favorite, the West Nile Virus Program.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The dogs.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Dunk.
I would like to go in depth on what we're purchasing.
No. Let's make a motion. We do it every year, Joe.
To purchase 20, I'd like to make a motion to purchase 23 cases, mosquito dunks 12 by 2 packs, 1,054, include shipping. 2 cases of the natural XRT tablets for 1,655.80, include shipping. And 30 cases of HG-95854, Cutter Sensations, 1 ounce travel size pump spray for 1,116. Total project expenditures $3,825.80, and $3,820.11 coming from the Oakland County West Nile Virus Prevention Grant, account number 101-072006, $5.69 for the Oxford Township General Fund, account number 101-299-880-001.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing Supervisor Dunn, authorizing West Nile Virus Fund expenditure reimbursement request as presented.
Moved,
Second.
seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a vacancy on the, not vacancy,
Substitute. Alternate.
an alternate on the ZBA. Therefore, this is going to be a motion. It's my recommendation to appoint Sandy Birch to fill in the alternate vacancy for the Zoning Board of Appeals, commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2018.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay.
I have a question before I can go.
We can't do a do-over.
That's too bad.
Well, do you want to make a statement, or?
I don't have any past history on her. I don't know what she...
Well, her husband was the electrical inspector here for probably over 20 years.
What does that have to do with her?
I'm just trying to tell you a little bit about her. Noted. There's nothing removed from the consent agenda.
Got a wood trail issue.
Wood trail issue.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
You want to forget about that?
Let's not forget, that's, Jim, you want to explain it, or Jack, or who wants?
You want to do it, Jimmy, or you want me to?
That's why we pay you the big bucks, Jim.
Yeah, you're here tonight.
Everybody knows about the wood trail collapse, right? It was a big 84-inch CMP. Road's shut down right now. The road commission's in the process of finalizing their design, and they approached the township. We have a water main on one side of the road and a sanitary sewer on the other side of the road. They asked us if they wanted that to be included in their design, and therefore they would bid it out and take care of it themselves with the entire project. Or they said, township, if you want, you can get a contractor on board of your choice. The road commission would put in the culvert. We would come in with a contractor of our choice to put in the water main and the sanitary sewer, and then the road commission would follow up after that and put the road back together. So just kind of amongst the general discussion here, that was, I don't say the route that we're going. I think that's what you're going to be making your motion to tonight. But we thought that it would be beneficial to just keep it local. We could have control of it then, and basically do the work ourselves. We've solicited bids from Saradian Construction and from Trojan Development Company, who's doing the Mickelson Shores well site. They're both local contractors here. Again, both very reputable. We haven't gotten any pricing back from them yet, but I would believe that tonight what Mr. Dunn's going to be requesting is that we respond to the road commission and let them know whether we want them to do the work or for the township to do the work.
We figure we can hire local and I think probably get a better price.
Save money. Yeah, it was at the discussion of the water and sewer individuals that the amount of money that gets added to contractors' bids due to having another design house go through it, having another inspector go through it, having a planner go through it. It's our water main, it's our sewer line. We can probably get it done less expensive.
And
We're talking 60 feet.
60 feet of water main pipe and 60 feet of sewer pipe. And we were worried that because it's a road commission project, that some of those prices from their contractors may be inflated. They may not be. We don't know. We have to make that decision, but at least this way we have some control of it. Correct.
Joe?
I checked, and I know Kurt didn't get a chance, he was out. I was wondering if we have insurance coverage for this. Because technically, we pay insurance for our sewer water systems. What if, this will be covered under insurance? It's an act of God.
Well, that would be a good question. We could ask that.
Mr. Gandolfi, if we get coverage for it. And two, let's say they say no, didn't the road collapse cause this?
Yes.
Couldn't we go after the road commission's insurance? Their road caused this collapse of our sewer and water? Right? It didn't happen.
Joe, you want to hire an attorney?
No, I'm just saying, could we ask them, would their insurance pick it up if our insurance doesn't?
I think Joe's got a valid point.
They have insurance for their roads.
Their statement is that we are in their right-of-way by permit. That, yes, that's, but we've been down that road with them a little bit. And
Initially, they wanted-
we're not quite sure where this is going to go in terms of the overall scope of the project, with the repair of the culvert and so forth. Right now, we're kind of just dealing with the water and the sewer, and we want to get that back in operation.
Initially, they wanted us to pay half of the fix, which is going to be probably $500,000 anyhow. And we basically told them no. And we said we may put in the water and sewer back into place, but that was it.
We anticipate that these repairs would probably be less than
And I have a memo of understanding that
$25,000.
if we decide to do this, that it's understood that we're not paying for anything else. It's in my office right now.
But if it was reversed, if our water system caused the road damage, they come ask for us for it.
Well, Joe, you can vote no.
No, not that. I just want to see if our insurance will cover it,
I know.
or theirs. It still needs to be done.
You know Mr. Curtis, right, over here? Curtis, right? You think he's going to check on it tomorrow morning?
I think he will.
I think he will. Is that noted?
I want to get the client tomorrow.
There we go.
There we go.
I like that.
What's the board's pleasure? Would you like to go local or go with the county?
I move that due to the essence of timing for the completion of the water main repairs and sewer line repairs for the Wood Trail sinkhole repair project, which will be bid under the control of the Road Commission of Oakland County, the Charter Township Board of Trustees authorizes the Water and Sewer Committee to select a contractor to perform the water main repairs and the sewer line repairs as opposed to the RCOC, including the water main repairs and sewer line repairs as part of their request for proposal for the Wood Trail sinkhole repair project.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Public comment? Any public comment?
Good evening, Mary Ann Keynes. I'm a resident of the Stony Lake Village condos, and I just have one concern this evening regarding the Legacy 925 agreement from your last board meeting on March 14th, when it was approved for the liquor license, and as part of that liquor license approval agreement, it was rendered that any outdoor patio eating areas would be first approved by the board, you folks, prior to enactment. And as far as I know, there is now a little eatery on the east side of the building where there's a picnic table and there's a bistro set there. It's under the Fuel Your Life Cafe graphic on the wall, but I don't know if that's the association to that business or not. I'm unaware if you folks have approved that, but since we're putting agreements in place, another agreement was put in place this evening, I'm a little concerned that who's the body that would enforce or make sure that these agreements are adhered to, because if this has, been put in place and it wasn't approved, I'm just afraid about other businesses in that facility seeing that, thinking it's a good idea, and then before you know it, the agreement's not even a month old yet, we may have a violation already. I'm just concerned and want to bring it to your attention to make sure that we're making these agreements, but which body here within the township is making sure that these agreements are adhered to, and how is the business notified, what violation fees might be associated. I don't feel that all the procedures were put in place when that agreement was signed, and maybe that's something that needs to be addressed and looked at and defined a bit, but that would be my concern. So I don't know if that particular eatery received your approval to have that established, but if not, I wanted to bring that to your attention as being the first, of what could be some business creep going on down the road, and how are we going to resolve this? Thank you for your time.
I don't allow two-way talk on this, and I'm not going to now, but if you hang around for another few minutes, I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Any other public comment? Board comment. We'll start with Mr. Nichols.
Have nothing this evening.
Ms. Dewar?
Nothing.
Chris?
I have one about all that Treasurer Ferrari. Take care.
I have none.
I guess I have something. Well, I think Snow has his April 28th here at Oxford Middle School. So anybody that's interested in that, we have pamphlets at the township. Please pick it up, fill it out, and your fees are free.
Okay.
And I'm going to, go ahead, Jack.
I'm just gonna feel left out.
No, I would never do that.
Just wanted to say that I believe that everybody has discussed with Tough Mudder what they need to have in place for that event, and in conjunction with the lacrosse that weekend, that's going to bring approximately 20,000 people to the Township of Oxford. So I believe Lieutenant Patterson is covered. I believe Chief Pete's got everything covered. I know Mike Solwall has it addressed. I don't think there's anything from the Township Board, but thanks, Bill, for holding the meeting and hosting it and getting everybody aware so that there's no strain on our infrastructure.
Thank you. I want to make an announcement, but I need help. Mr. Service, who is the manager of the OCTV, he just got awarded. Connie, do you know what that award is?
GE Meads through the Rotary. Chris could actually tell you more about what it is.
Chris, can you tell me is it?
It's a GE Meads, a Rotary Award.
The GE Mead Rotary Award. Meads.
Yeah.
He was a dentist here in town.
He was the founder of Rotary in Oxford in 1937. And it's an award that goes to someone for service above self, a non-Rotarian.
Thank you, but I did want to congratulate him on that award. It's well deserved. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Yay.